Hello, friends, and welcome. I am the Left-Handed Rogue. Uh, for those of you who don't know me, I am a lock picker and maker. Um, I know there's a lot of us out in the community, and I'm just going to talk about a small, let's call it challenge that turned into a project. If any of you have been watching, you know that Greyhound and I are very good friends, and we've done some collaboration together. I've redone his lockpicking handles, and I've started him on a project that I've called my Rogues Vault, which is a modular box for lockpicking. That has nothing to do with this particular video. Um, but on his show several weeks ago, he said, "Hey, it would be cool if my good friend Mr. Vangle out there, which is my Discord name, um, made a kit that would fit into a Altoids tin using the Force kit that he sells on his website and the Longhorn tensioners, which I just so happen to have right here. And they come in this tiny little leather case and plastic PVC case. And I'm like, well, okay, that's not really much of a challenge because I just take them out of their packaging and they'll fit right in. But I knew that's not what he had meant when he said that. And I had thought to myself, that doesn't take up a lot of room in the box. What can I all stuff in this thing? And I said, well, if we're going to make it an Altoids tin, let's go all out. What do we need for our lock picking hobby? Well, picking tray. We all have used and love those. There are some 3D printed ones that fit in Altoids tins already. None of those work for what I'm doing because they take up way more space. But, if you like the more portable ones, there's the Sparrows ones. Fantastic product, by the way. You get plug followers. And really, it comes down to there are about 3 or 4 sizes that are very common, 2 of which are very close to each other. Tweezers, because if you're going to take a lock apart, you're going to need a tweezers. You're going to need a screwdriver. And, again, the lock picking set itself. So, imagine trying to stuff all this into this little box. Well, that was my challenge, and I do believe I've stepped up to it. I'm just going to start by pulling these out and showing you what we have here. Now, these are the Force EDC picks. If you look at these are tiny. I mean, not comfortable. There's no way I'm going to use that. So the very first thing I did was I made a handle for him. I'd like to make it magnetic, but unfortunately to get that level of thickness out of it would be a problem. So these are actually just snap fit together, and they're using the design that I've used in the other ones, where I sandwich them in a tongue and groove, and I have a little peg on the bottom to hold it to keep things from rotating. And it actually fits in there very snug. There's no play, no wiggle. So yeah, because I'm never going to use these as is. Chances are I may or may not use these. More on that in a minute. So then I made a 3D printed tweezers. It's really small. It doesn't have the best grip, but again, this is like an emergency kit. I got plug followers. So this is, I believe, 10 or 9 millimeters. I can't recall. This is the 12.5 and this is the 14. So those are your three most common, and they are 3D printed. So the other thing I had mentioned in here, because we got the tray, we got the plugs, we've got the tools, the tweezers, is a screwdriver. So I actually have a 3D printed, and I don't know if you can see it real well, I have a textured grip on here. And this is just a 2-inch Phillips head bit driver. And this actually slides all the way in here. And I have magnets on the inside. These are the 6 by 3 millimeter round magnets. And of course you're not going to be able to screw or unscrew like that. That's why you take it to the other end, which also has a magnetic retention in it. And now you have a workable screwdriver. So, and then we have 3 top and bottom of keyway tensioners. So I could just throw them in the box and be done with it, but that's really not the idea of the project here. So I 3D printed this. So as you can see, the 2 grooves on the ends, this will hold the screwdriver and the plug followers. And then I have a set of channels in here. So on the bottom, this will hold the 4 actual picks, and they slide in there, and they're relatively snug. If I turn it upside down, they're not going to fall out unless I shake. But I'm just going to put those together. Come on. And again, I have big hands. That's a problem for me. We have the tweezers. Now these have a tapered end on them. It's going to go flat side up. And there's actually a channel here in the middle. I don't know if you can see the hook in there that it fits into. And you just press it down. And again, fits in there. The little mini handle that sits here in the middle, so you can see that. And then we have the tensioners. So originally I designed these to sit so that they are like this, point up, but that's going to be too tall. So I made an adjustment. And if you notice, I have the little fins over here on the end, and it actually just sits, and there's a hole in the channel at the bottom where the one tip goes through, and then the other side rests on here. Now the red one's the only one that's going to fall through like that. The other 2 are not. They're going to be held in very well. Let's see, I'm just going to quickly get those in there. If I can. Okay. And the third one. Again, I apologize. I have big hands and these are small tools. So you can see all those fit in there. And then fits in the box very nicely. Then fit the 2 tubes in. And again, the tubes are all hollow with the exception of the one that has the screwdriver. So they can nest inside of each other. And then I have a 2mm thick pinning tray that goes on top. Ooh. Just like that. Close her up and you're done. Now the only thing that I made, and about the pinning tray, this is part of an original design that I had made maybe 2 years ago. I have one of my originals here, and I know some people like to they like to slide them out of the tray instead of using the tweezers to pick them out. So I actually had a breakaway bottom on it. But this design was too thick for this. This is like 6mm. This is 2, and it just fits. The other thing that I made is I made another handle, which actually fits in the box, but only if you don't have a pinning tray. And unfortunately, that kind of takes away the whole point of it, to not have a pinning tray in there. But it actually fits up here on the lid, and you gotta get it in there just right, and there you go, it closes. Yeah, it'll pull the red one out every time too. However, the nice part is, if this is like your grab and go, what you could do is just attach it to the outside somewhere. Or not use it at all. I don't think this set is going to be usable for me without it. But if you have any questions or comments, feel free to comment below. I check them pretty regular. Thanks for watching.